Hello and welcome to The Marketplace with me, Luqman Hariz, a show where we search for the hidden gems of the Bursa Malaysia, which is the mid and small cap companies. Today we speak to Malayan flour mills Berhad. Malayan Flour Mills Berhad is a pioneer in the flour milling industry in Malaysia. Its first plant was opened in 1966 by the nation's first Prime Minister, the late Tunku Abdul Rahman himself. Over the years, MFM has transformed Malaysia from a flour importing country to being self-sufficient in wheat flour. To date, MFM has more than 15 companies under its umbrella, having diversified from its main flour milling business to poultry, aqua feeds and raw material trading. Joining me is MFM Managing Director CHYE. Mr. Teh, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Luqman, for having me today.
MFM has been around since 1966. That's like 5 decades. So how has the landscape of the food industry in this country changed, and how has MFM adapted over the years?
We started in 1966 and we have identified flour milling to be our core business. Essentially, we are food manufacturing. And since then, we see opportunities growing, not only in Malaysia and also in ASEAN, primarily in flour milling and feed milling and poultry integration. So we have expanded to countries like Vietnam, where we have 2 flour mills, and a joint venture flour mill in Indonesia. Combined together, the total production or sales of flour on a per year basis exceed more than 1 million metric tons. So we have grown economy of scale, and in poultry integration, we are in the midst of finalizing the construction of an ultra-modern poultry integration facilities in Perak, consisting of breeder farm, broiler farm, feed mill, primary processing and further processing plant. Nevertheless,
your latest results have been quite pressured. The second quarter of FY17, you saw your net profit dipped almost half, 47%, from over 30 million ringgit to just over 16 million ringgit. Why?
Yes. The main contributing reasons are as follows. Our profit from our Vietnam operation reduced a bit, mainly from more intensive competition. There are some losses in the raw material business, and on top of that, in 2006 there was an insurance claim. So all this added up to a reduction in our profit.
Competition in countries like Vietnam, do you mean you're competing with people who have lower costs to operate compared to you, and how are you planning to adapt to this?
This arises because of new players in the market, in the flour market. Generally, when a new player comes to the market, they want to establish a foothold, so they will have to reduce the price. So competition intensifies as a result of that. Not necessarily they are more cost effective than us.
But can they sustain if they do that, just to introduce lower prices so that they can beat all the other competitors?
They will introduce lower price to the extent that they can get a sufficient volume, and thereafter that they would just go back to they will revert to a higher price.
Talking about external factors, the ringgit and its movement is also a key factor in your financials. The ringgit has been quite positive recently, but it has been volatile, generally speaking, at least for the past couple of years or 3 years. You buy raw ingredients, for example, your wheat, from countries like the US, Canada. So how is the volatile ringgit affecting your business?
Fortunately, the commodity price has been quite stable due to surplus in production worldwide. So raw material price did not go up very much. However, because of the depreciation in the ringgit, our input costs on raw material went up. We hope that with the economic growth in ASEAN and Malaysia improving over the next few years, our ringgit will strengthen. But this is something which we have to watch.
But are you just putting it all to hope, or do you have strategies to mitigate the expected volatility of the ringgit moving forward?
In this aspect, we also hedge our commodity to reduce our price. Yeah.
Well, one more important thing that we always see in this country is inflation. This year, the rise in inflation has been quite significant, with the rise in food prices or food inflation also a significant contributor to the main index. How has this affected you?
We see people are more cautious in their purchasing pattern, but over and above, the more important fact is we are buying our raw material at very competitive prices in the world market. We have plenty of choice and we can hedge. So we hope that generally people still have to eat. So we'll make it as less painful as possible.
You also are involved in the poultry business. Now last year, the KPD&KK said Malaysia hopes to produce antibiotics-free chicken by 2020, which is obviously just over 2 years from now. Is this achievable? And what have you done so far?
Essentially, all the industrialized countries like US, Europe, they're moving towards producing antibiotic-free chicken. In Malaysia, the priority of the government is moving towards more sustainable production in the first place, because we want to ensure the chickens are produced at affordable prices. And thereafter, the government will move towards antibiotic-free chicken. Producing antibiotic-free chicken is a journey by itself. It's a complete process, starting from procurement of raw material of good quality, storage and preservation of this good raw material to make sure that the quality will not deteriorate, and production of nutritious quality feed products, good farming and husbandry practices at the farm, good farming environment, so that we can reduce the incidence of disease. And without disease, the gut health of the chicken will be better. With that, the chances of producing antibiotic-free chicken will be better. But it's a long process. In Malayan flour mills, we have started by having converted all our chicken houses to closed house, both the breeder house and broiler house. With that, we will stand a better chance because we can control the environmental factors better. The chicken will be less stressed as compared to the open house.
Okay, we'll talk more about antibiotics-free chicken when we come back. We'll take a short break. We'll return with MFM Managing Director CHYE. The Marketplace will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Back with me, Luqman, hariz on the Marketplace. I've been speaking to Malayan Flour Mills Managing Director CHYE. Now, before the break, we were talking about Dinding's poultry and the fact that the KPD&KK said Malaysia wants to produce only antibiotics-free chicken by the year 2020. You said Dinding's have made taken steps, some progress to achieve this goal. But has this had any financial impacts towards your operations?
We are doing a lot of R&D trials, and we are also making a lot of improvements in the storage of our raw material, and certainly it will increase the cost, but it's necessary if you want to produce antibiotic-free chicken.
But that is in Malaysia. How about on a global scale? You are also a big supplier for McDonald's in this country, and McDonald's has also come out and said it will start rolling back use of antibiotics in its chicken products, not by 2020 like the KPD&KK said, but by next year. That's even an even shorter, so to say, deadline. How has this affected you?
We are a major supplier to McDonald's. No doubt they are very keen, but they have to be realistic. Perhaps we can start by producing chickens that has there's no residual antibiotics in the chicken tissue, and then slowly progress towards antibiotic-free. To produce antibiotic-free chicken takes a huge leap of efforts, and I think we should make baby steps so that we can incrementally control the entire production process.
Are you saying that they are moving too fast and they have a target that is somewhat unrealistic?
2020 will be a more practical timeline.
Yes, but they want to do it by 2018 and you are their supplier. So would you have any choice but to do it by the stipulated time?
We are trying. Until such time we can claim we can produce sustainably, I would rather not comment at the moment.
Right. Let's talk about general plans for the company. What do you have in terms of plans to diversify to other sectors for further diversification of your revenue in this volatile economy?
The future is very challenging. We are fortunate to have a good base, good economy of scale, and we intend to go downstream in the food chain. For example, we are building a new primary processing plant which is very efficient, supported by supply chain, and we are also expanding in further processing and going downstream to more value-added food items. That will help us to improve our overall revenue and bottom line. At the same time, we are also building a new aqua feed mill, and we see prospect in aqua feed globally is growing 6 to 7% a year. It's a new sector of growth, especially when the production of fish in the sea is reducing, the catch in the sea is reducing, and being in the flour business, poultry business, going into the aquaculture and producing value-added products from fish is a natural extension.
Lastly, we have about 1 minute left. You have about 15 to 16 subsidiaries under you. Most of it are 100% owned. Do you think this is too much in today's economy? Do you think there's a need for further rationalization and consolidation between the group of companies?
A very good question. You're absolutely right. Some of these were subsidiaries, especially when we applied to MIDA for pioneer status many years ago. Over the years, we have started to consolidate. For instance, in poultry integration, the number of subsidiaries have reduced, and ultimately we have one holding company. And with that, we only have a few companies left, but we are more efficient. And less company means less silo mentality.
All right, thank you so much, Malayan Flour Mills Managing Director Teh Wee Chye. And that's it for this episode of The Marketplace. Send us all your feedback on all our social media platforms. What do you think of the conversation? Tell us on our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at 501awani. Do not forget that you can also listen to this interview on your podcast. Simply search for Astro Awani or The Marketplace wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Luqman Hariz. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.
Thank you.